Can you show yourself? You wouldn't even be able to tell. Be more live, because you can't do all the talking. Well, back again. Back again. No, we didn't have the opener today, you know.
Missing our weekly show that was supposed to be on Wednesday. Got a little sidetracked.
Yeah, I had a lot of things. As I said, we got a lot of things going on. We have a lot of things doing. It's quite a bit. It's quite a bit. It's quite a bit. It's very, very strenuous. You know, we raise kids. We're married. We try to get these things together. We try to get the studio together. You know, we're trying to get everything together when it comes down to this whole entire channel, really and truly. So forgive us if we didn't pop up. We know we were supposed to pop up on Wednesday and do what we were supposed to do. But at the end of the day, you know, we're here. See what I'm talking about? We're here though.
Never ends, never ends.
Yeah, we're back here. We're here. I may seem a little bit tired, like I'm about to go to sleep.
No, he's not.
But you know, it is what it is. For those who don't know, you guys can you see, I'm tired. I'm already saying also as if I said something before. You guys could definitely, you know.
He's tired, everyone.
Yeah.
Forgive him.
Yeah, I've been driving all morning. All day I've been driving. All week I've been driving, so you know. And at this time here, we're late again. We want to be out here at 8 o'clock on here. But you know,
when you got kids and you have things to do, and today's my oldest's birthday, so you know we had to do family things, get some eats, and whatnot. So, however, but we didn't forget you guys, so we are live, and we welcome you guys to the Respected Angle Show
with your host AJ is live, and the one, the only Elise J.
Hello,
AJ. It's a pleasure to be back on again, guys. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. It's totally a pleasure to be back here. You know, once again, speaking to you guys, and you know, talking about relationships, relationships, and our marriage. So, without further ado, you see, I gotta get this thing together here. You know, it's a new system that we're working on, so I gotta get these things here together because it's kind of complicated, all this technology and stuff like that. You know, as I said, we had to make sure that everything is technologically sound, and you know, everything is on point. So now that we're getting everything together, we have the switches going on and stuff like that, and you know, the different camera angles. Don't worry,
we'll get there.
Yeah, we gonna get it down pat. I'm gonna get it down pat for sure. But as I said, we are arriving. and we will be arriving to the studio very, very soon. Probably let's say next month.
Yes, definitely.
It's gonna be
By
a
God's grace and glory, hallelujah, we will get there.
building stage, guys. Building stage. Rome wasn't built in a day.
No.
At all. But on tonight, we are definitely discussing relationships and marriages.
And we welcome you to any comments. As we said, we welcome them. And if you have anything to say or would like to join, maybe you can do so. I'm not sure. I believe there is a way that you can. But all input is welcome. And, let's talk about it. Let's talk about
All right, so we're talking about it today. We're talking about relationships and marriage, and our marriage experience. Our marriage experience. I'd say our experience. Period. When it comes down to relationships, our relationship itself, it wasn't perfect. It still ain't perfect. There's times where we would disagree, and that's that's normal. That's a normal thing. You know what I'm saying? And to disagree with your significant other, even when you're married, it's not a bad thing. Uh, 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 it's actually something where you guys can come together and discuss what the agreements and the disagreements are, so that way you can understand what one side's mind is thinking and the other side's mind is thinking. So that way you guys can collectively come together and have those ideas. So that way whatever it is that you disagreed on, there can be a compromise based on the both sides, both based on the both parties. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't help for one person to always be right all the time. It's always good to hear your significant other or your wife or your girlfriend's ideas, because like I said, your ideas may not be the best ideas as the man in the relationship. It might not be the best ideas that may bring about a difference in the whatever situation that you guys are disagreeing about. So it's good to have mixed ideas and bring both ideas to the table, so that way you guys can come to a mutual agreement, a mutual understanding on what the situation is. Whatever the argument is, there can be a mutual ground on this. What do you think, Elise?
I definitely agree. Our relationship is definitely not perfect. I mean, whose relationship is perfect? But you, I think what the key important thing in a relationship is not just hearing what your partner is saying, but listening. Because oftentimes we hear one another, and that's great, but there's a difference between hearing somebody and listening to the other person. And I think sometimes, even in our relationship, we don't listen. We just
Talk,
talk and talk
talk,
and
go
talk
back and
and
forth and go back and forth. And we're just not really trying to understand how to.
no, it's not. You
Yeah.
don't understand the other person's side, or you don't get
Yeah.
where the other person is coming
That's a
from
fact.
because you're not listening to what's being said, as opposed to hearing just hearing all the things that's coming at you at one time. And
Because you just understand what you're saying.
right,
You're only understanding your point of view.
in
But
in 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 a relationship, marriage, whatever, you have to know that whatever you're thinking is not always the correct thing or the best thing, or you know what, since I feel this way, I'm not going to listen to what you have to say. I don't think that that's correct. And even if that's what you feel at the moment, maybe it's time, you could take some time for yourself and, assess the situation and maybe come back to it at a later time, because, some people are not always good at hashing things out right away. Sometimes it takes a while or a few hours or maybe the next day or a week or however long it takes. I mean, sometimes I feel like for me or for us, I feel like we should just hash it out, because a lot of times things get swept under the rug and you don't want to have that either, because then it comes back up again.
oh, that sweeping under the rug thing. Oh my goodness! You see that right there? That sweeping under the rug, that causes problems. most of the times I tell her, listen, if you have an issue, you might as well tell me right now. Don't wait till later to tell me because later is when it gets worse. It's like it's like sometimes women have their women's intuition. You guys have your
Ooh.
intuition. Y'all can tell when something's wrong or something's going on.
Yes.
Men have common sense. We have common sense. Sometimes females don't want to say, yo, I feel this sort of way because they don't know what the kind of what the response is. I understand that, but it's better that you be transparent about what you're feeling right there in the moment, so that way it'll give a better segue or a better chance to be able to have a communication, better communication about it. And that's one of the first things that we're going to talk about today. The first thing we're going to talk about today is communication. Learning how to have honest communication with one another. Not just communication, but honest communication. Speaking about how you feel, what you feel deep down inside, and not in an angry way, not in a derogatory way, or not in a malicious way, but honestly saying how you feel about whatever it is that you guys disagree with. Maybe
True.
she stepped on your toe. You know what I'm saying? Or
That is true.
maybe she made you feel some kind of way, and you want to say, well, as a man, listen, I didn't agree with that. Let's talk about it. But most of the times in relationships, what do? We sweep it underneath the rug and just leave it there. And say, you know what? I ain't gonna talk about it right now. And then within yourself, you're feeling some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? You feel a sort of way, and it's a kind of way where you don't wanna bring it out. But it's healthy for you to have that conversation because
Which is what I do. I don't hold things back in. I like to talk. I like to say what I got to say to who I have to say it to. And, whether it steps on a toe or not, I just have like word vomit. So I like to talk. I like to talk things out so it doesn't get swept under the rug. Like,
oh yeah, you do. Yeah, you like to talk. Yeah, you like to talk about it.
well, listen, it's better for us to talk about it than for us not to talk about it. And then I bring it back up another month later or, however long ago. But remember when? I don't think you want the remember when. So let's just talk about it. Let's get these
Yeah,
things
then
off in
remember when's is
check,
like, do I have to really
off your
remember
chest.
what you're talking about right now? Like, how long ago is this
Yes.
happening? You didn't even bring it up the time that you were supposed to bring it up. And that's the most hurtful part about it. That's why I say it's better for you to communicate right then and there in the moment. You know what I'm saying? Even though it becomes an argument, you guys can revisit it later, even after the argument. Due to just for the mere fact that it becomes an argument, at least it's out there. At least
Sometimes people
how
don't
you
want to
feel.
get into
Yeah,
those type of
yeah,
things
yeah. I
right then
mean,
and there, which is understandable. Because sometimes, he doesn't want to get into things right then and there. He don't like to talk about
we ain't
things right
perfect.
off the bat. And, yeah, sometimes it'll drive me up the wall. But if we don't talk about it right away, then we'll have those remember when times. And you don't want those remember when times. But communication is very, very, I believe that, I'm sure everybody has heard this, but communication is the most important key for a relationship. You have to talk. You have to, whatever it is. It can be. You guys. Sometimes you know what? I feel like sometimes you have to blow up in a situation, even if you blow up and things get big and it's. It can be too much sometimes. Sometimes you have to like talk it out, blow up, and then maybe you can like, maybe it'll simmer down or whatever the case may be. But I feel like regardless of how you talk or how you get things out, I think that you have to communicate because sometimes things get lost in translation and it can be detrimental to your relationship later on in life.
that is that is so much of a fact. It's not even funny. It could really affect you in a different way because that thing that you guys would have at the beginning of the relationship, you know, it might just fade away based on the fact that you guys are not being honest in your communication. And one person's gonna hold on to is gonna harbor feelings, and sometimes people never even talk about what they feel. They just harbor feelings. That's the next dangerous thing to do. harboring feelings, because you never know what could come next after that. When you're harboring a whole bunch of feelings, there's an expression: pressure bursts pipes. It bursts pipes in many ways. Some people get violent, some people get ignorant, some people just go all out. You know what I'm saying? There are situations where in which there's a situation in which that takes place, that the feelings are harbored so much that the partner gets violent. You know what I'm saying? Then we hear of other situations where the partner done got murdered based on harboring feelings.
Yeah.
These things can happen. It's very dangerous at the end of the day. So I would say, just to avoid most of these things, communicate. Communicate. And if it's not working, if the communication is not working, the communication is not there, then I don't think you need to be with each other. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, when I say that, I'm just trying to throw people off.
No, what I'm saying is, if